Hey everybody, welcome back to another video of Silver Dragoon about constitutional silver and why it is now my love. Yep, extremely emotional purchases here. No, I'm just kidding. So, stacking constitutional silver over generic bullion silver, which is, by the way, anything minted, anything minted since 1964 or 1965 on is essentially generic bullion. I'm not talking about the constitutional stuff, made by the U.S. Mint. I'm talking about anything minted, right? Anything at all minted. Even American Silver Eagles, I would throw into this category, from some generic mint where they put their stamp on it and they put a quantity on it and a serial number on it and 999 and ounces. Like there's nothing scarce or rare about that. It's literally just bullion, recycled bullion, as many times as you want. And even if they put a limited quantity of 10,000 made or 5,000 made, none of that matters. Literally doesn't matter. It's not as rare or scarce, as precious as anything else, because when you go to sell that thing, you're going to take that item and you're going to take it to your store or wherever, or sell it to an online bullion dealer who's buying it back for a couple dollars behind spot or whatever it is. And they're going to buy it from you, and then they're going to ship it off to a refiner, wholesaler who ships it off to a refiner, melts it all down and turns it into the next low mintage scarce rare thing. It's just a marketing thing to get you to hopefully pay a higher premium on specially designed stuff that you like and think looks cool. But it's, at the end of the day, it's just raw silver, bullion silver. It's nothing special. I'm not saying you shouldn't stack it. I'm just saying it's nothing special to me. And on the left here, right, on the left side of the equation here, we have silver as well. This is silver. It contains 90% of its weight, right? So if you go and weigh it, 90% of that weight is silver, right? The thing that people are chasing, the thing that people are stacking and hoarding, that the thing that people are calling wealth. But for some reason, some people don't consider it, I guess, the same type of wealth because you get less of spot when you go to sell today. That's not even historically factually true. There's been times throughout history where the stuff on the left, the constitutional junk 90% silver, demanded a higher premium than the generic bullion on the right. But nobody wants to talk about that because it doesn't fit the narrative of today's kind of mentality and culture about stacking. And I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't stack. I'm talking about what I'm doing and what I love. So one of the biggest benefits of this stuff on the left is it is already divisible. Like, it is the easiest thing to divide. You want a little bit more silver? Go with a larger coin. You want less silver? Go with a smaller coin. You want to get 1 ounce of silver? Roughly make $1.40 of face value. Face value is just what it's valued on its face currency. So, quarter is 25 cents, right? $half is $half. More dollars a dollar. Create roughly $1.40 worth of face value of these coins, and you have roughly 1 ounce of silver equate. It's just, I don't know, it's not that complicated. This stuff is divisible, right? I've got a bunch of divisibility right here on the right. I've got a 10 ounce bar, a 1 ounce bar, a 1 ounce coin. I've got a 1.25 ounce coin. I've got a half ounce rounds. I've got 10 ounce bars, or excuse me, 1/10 ounce bars, right? But the difference is, for me, is all this stuff on the left was purchased under melt, okay? Under melt. Spot price typically is the price of 1 ounce of silver. So when you're referring to stuff that's not pure silver, you typically would refer to it as melt because you're referring to the quantity of silver if it were melted down. All right, here's a quick example. Like a Morgan and Peace dollar, they have about 0.773 ounces of silver in it. So that would be the melt amount, right? Half dollars have about 0.357. Guess what? How much do you think a quarter has? Just take a quick guess. No, yeah, you're right. A quarter has half the amount of a half dollar because it's half the size. That's why I'm saying the divisibility was baked into this when it was created by the U.S. Mint, right? For the same quantity of silver there. The dime, okay, right, has 0.071 ounces of silver in it. Wow, the dime is 1/5 of a half dollar, right? It makes sense. It makes sense when you know it, right? You can see how they just divided it up by the size of the coin and the face value of the coin. It's, I think sometimes people try to act like it's more complicated than it is to figure out like the silver weight or the silver value in constitutional silver. And I think they do that to justify to themselves about why they shouldn't purchase it. It's obviously easier to convince somebody who doesn't know anything about silver. It's obviously easier to show them something that says explicitly, half an ounce, or something that says explicitly 1 ounce of 999 pure silver. I guess they're going to trust you, right? They're going to trust you when you go to barter or trade. That's fine. That's fine. They can trust you. They could also trust the United States, of America mint on the stuff on the left. I don't know that this stuff is a real coin minted by our own government. And you can look at the dates and you can kind of know. Now, could all this stuff be fake? Yeah, that's a conversation for a different time. Every single thing on this table could actually be fake. It's not, but it could actually be a fake item. All right. I even got damaged coins up here just to kind of show, because like, oh, look, this is damaged. You know what the difference is? Let me show you a difference here. This quarter being dinged up and damaged, not being a key date or anything special, just being, just being silver itself, just being silver, has the same weight as it does if it's not damaged. And it's going to get the same value back, whether it's damaged and dinged like that or whether it's fine, because these are circulated. Now, it'd be different if this was an uncirculated coin. This right here, this American Silver Eagle, guess what? If it stays pristine and has all of its luster, it should, because it's never been circulated, I can probably get a little bit more from a coin shop when I go to sell it. A little bit more. But if it's got milk spotting or some bad toning or some scratches or dings, it goes down to its melt spot price, because it's not going to be a high luster retail item that's going to want some. Why would somebody buy a scuffed up, ugly American Silver Eagle versus a nice, beautiful, clean one? So in terms of like handling and storage and things like that, you kind of have to consider that as well, unless you're unless you're just stacking for bullion weight. And if you're just stacking for bullion weight, well, that's fine. But why would you ever then buy a premium piece of silver? Why wouldn't you just always buy the ugliest garbage, random kilo bars or 100-ounce bars and just stack that weight in your closet? Right. So there's like these mixed communications. But if I go to barter with this, like, I think there's gonna, if this was ever a world where we're gonna barter and trade with divisible silver, I would not want 100-ounce bars of silver. It's gonna show, one, that I have wealth, and I don't want to show probably everybody that I have that much wealth in a situation which I'm having to barter. Right. I'd like to have a little bit of what we call like stealth wealth, if you will. Like if I'm going out to get some eggs and some, milk and maybe some beef or something, maybe I want to bring some Morgan dollars and some dimes or quarters and dimes to kind of break it down. And I think in that world, it would be like, I think what we would be saying is, we wouldn't be saying, oh, I'll sell you this for 2 ounces of silver. What we would be saying is, I'll sell you this for, 5 quarters. I'll sell you this for a dime, right? You can have some eggs for a dime. I think the conversation would be different. Now that's speculating, that's hypothetical, but I don't think there's going to be ever a world where just nobody will want the constitutional silver. And every year that all this stuff gets melted, right? This all gets melted and returned into the next commemorative special thing, right? Oh, there's only 1,000. There's only 1,000 of these minted. Okay, so I buy it and I pay like a 50% premium because there's only 1,000 of them and it's got a cool design. And then guess what? When I go to sell in 10 years, somebody buys it back to me for spot price, and then they melt it down and turn it into the next, bar or round or coin that has, only 500 more. It's the same cycle over and over again. These get melted, they never exist again. These get melted, they're completely out of circulation. Nobody's minting them. Nobody's making them. They can't. It's gone. It's over. And I don't know. Again, it's just an extra layer of interest, an extra layer of sexiness, fun, entertainment, difference. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there are people out there that just don't like constitutional silver. They will make every reason for you to dislike it. I understand that there are advantages to both. I understand that there are disadvantages to both. I understand that there are cycles in both, where sometimes constitutional is in high demand and demands a premium. And there are times where it is completely out of favor and refineries are backed up and they say, hey, we don't even want to take this stuff right now. God forbid that's when you actually have to sell it. Like, otherwise, all of you that we all claim to be stackers and we all seem to, bear this flag very, very high. Well, then you probably shouldn't ever really have to sell into a bad market. You can hold and wait. Maybe you sell something else, and you hold on to your stuff that's out of favor and wait for stuff to be good favor. I'm not telling anybody they should even go all in on one type of silver. I got some messages about that in my last video. I am talking about why I really enjoy constitutional silver. I'm talking about why it's the thing that I'm buying right now. And it's because I believe in it. I still believe in it. There's been a lot of people that say that they cite all the reasons why you shouldn't get constitutional silver. But you know what? If I can go out there and I can buy this stuff for under melt, even if I could buy it for above melt, but right now, like, I can just buy this for under melt. And it has silver, the thing that we're all seeking, right? It has the value regardless. Also, by the way, I have sold some of this stuff over the melt price, even during the horrendous market where you couldn't even sell this stuff to refiners. I actually have proof of selling half dollars for above melt at the time that I sold it. And other people do too. You can find it too. You just might not have to go through your same classic traditional outlet that you're comfortable with, that you're used to. But the point there, what I'm trying to make is that there is still always a demand for this stuff. There's still people that want it and treasure it and appreciate it, even if you don't, or somebody that doesn't, or even if large refiners at the time they have too much pure silver to want to deal with the extra cost and extra time and labor to get the silver out of this. Don't melt it. Stop the freaking melt. Like, I'm not trying to stop the melt. It actually behooves me, honestly, for the things that I collect. It behooves me for you guys to all melt the heck out of this stuff, because the less of it there is, the more of it that I own as a percentage of the entire world, the more rare and special my key dates become, right? I mean, like, it actually makes my value long-term go up when all these people melt down and refine their constitutional silver. But I think that you should pay attention to the history and the value, and just there's a lot of other, I guess, intrinsic value that I derive from the constitutional silver that I just can't get from stacking bullion. It's as simple as that. And I'm not saying this stuff's bad. I'm not saying this stuff's terrible. I'm just simply saying that if I'm going to spend my money right now, and I'm going to buy something, and I'm going to stack something, I feel like I'm just going to continue to stack this constitutional silver and appreciate it and have fun with it and share it with my family and teach my daughter about the time. There was a time when the United States actually put real money and real value in its currency. And you know what? That's not it. This doesn't represent that. I'm sorry. This just represents the precious metal itself in its raw state. This represents a time in history and a place where our people, our own citizens, were able to do trade and commerce in real, actual money. And it tells a story that none of this on the right can ever tell. Anyway, see you guys on the next video, where we keep kind of talking about constitutional silver and why I believe in it long term. Appreciate you guys. Click a like, follow, subscribe, share this video with somebody who loves or hates constitutional silver. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much.